It's okay to stalk the first time that you add someone, right? That's acceptable, right?
I don't know, Irene. What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Grad Student Regrets. I'm Nick,
I'm Ching.
This is Ivy.
I'm Emily.
and today we're going to be talking about learning how to deal with imposter syndrome. Who here has felt imposter syndrome before?
Oh, all the time. When I go to high school, when I go to med school in Taiwan, when I came here, I have the same feeling every time. It's a bad feeling, but I don't know how to name it until I came here.
Yeah, so let's define it first. According to Wikipedia, imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud.
So I think everybody may have this experience before.
Yeah. We were actually pretty lucky that a few weeks ago we attended a workshop about imposter syndrome at our school, and we felt it was really helpful to us, so we wanted to share that with you.
Actually, Ivy sent out the link to all 4 of us to sign up, and I was like, oh my gosh, she feels it too? I actually felt a little validated in that moment because I thought it was just me going through that. But the workshop went through like so many helpful things that, and I like we met a lot of people who, like, the workshop was actually pretty full. There was a good group of people there, right?
Yeah, and you can see that you're not the only one. Everyone that you thought are so much more accomplished than you and must feel so comfortable actually feel the same as you.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. But the reason why I go to that workshop is that they provide free food.
Let's not expose our real reasons here.
But after I joined that event, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's go through the steps that they helped us go through to deal with our imposter syndrome.
I think the hardest part is the first step, right? It's you have to know that you feel this way. You have to name it, you have to recognize it.
Exactly. You have to recognize that this feeling is associated with imposter syndrome in order to fight it. So let's go through each of us. How do we feel?
When you are in imposter syndrome, right? You have that feeling, right?
Yeah. For me, when I feel like some kind of imposter syndrome, I think my feeling is that I will feel I'm not vulnerable in this in here because everybody have all their accomplishment in their field, but I think I don't deserve in here.
Coming from a clinical background into the public health field, there are a lot of clinicians here, but there are also a lot of other people that have business backgrounds, a lot of research experience. The clinicians too, most of them have publications already. And I feel like me as a clinician, I just went through school, studied, and I knew exactly what to do to get A in certain subjects, and that's all I had to do. Whereas all these other people were creative and came up with their own projects, and took their own initiatives to get where they are. So I feel like I'm not as creative and as original as a person as my classmates. I always feel bad when I'm not too into research, but in public health, especially at the school where we are at, a lot of emphasis is put on research, and I always feel bad, like how come I don't like research, and how come I'm not smart enough to be so invested in doing research. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say to me that you are here for a reason, but compared to others, I'm a physician, so what? Physician all the way, everywhere. And then maybe you have done some research. Look at Nick. How many publications you have? And
Yeah.
then like, oh, maybe you are from a unique country, but people all over the place they have their health system, they have different to bring up to the class. It's like, why am I here? I always doubted that.
See, you say that, but like I'm sitting here going like I'm not a clinician. So always have this feeling whenever I come into a conversation, whether we're in class or outside of class, like somebody's stepping on me and I have to be extra careful. Like, oh, I don't want to say something wrong and have everybody look at me like, oh, this person doesn't really know what they're talking about, is so dumb. Why is this person here? Right? And I'm always like being careful with what I want to say, to the point where most of the time I don't even get a chance to say it. I just, try and make myself really small, try not to say anything, try and be very unnoticeable in the class. I don't know. I don't like feeling that way because it makes me feel like so helpless.
Yeah, I think I feel very small too, and I always try to find somewhere to hide in the classroom.
Yeah, so we obviously all feel some imposter syndrome. What do you think those feelings make you do? Do they actually change your behavior in certain ways?
For me, if I feel kind of not valuable and not deserving here, to avoid to say something because I'm afraid of talking something wrong, or maybe just don't say anything and stay in my comfort zone.
Yeah, we just don't want to say anything and we try and hide. And I don't know, me personally, I realized that like the first couple of weeks of school, I think you three mentioned it, like I just suddenly disappeared. What happened to me? And I guess that was a lot due to imposter syndrome. Like I was always thinking to myself like, wow, I don't want to look bad around the people who are going to be like the next leaders of the world. So I might as well just kind of hide and not be around these people, not say anything. And when I do have to sit in a classroom, I try to sit in the back. I try to sit on the side, like not front forward. I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want the professor to see me. Yeah.
What about you? You always look so confident in front of everyone.
I'm not. Actually, in class, I feel really bad because sometimes I want to say something so bad that I think about it and try to formulate it so that it sounds as smart as possible. But while thinking about that, I'm not really listening to what others are saying, to what the professor is saying. I'm just getting stressed from thinking about what I want to say and not sounding stupid from what I'm saying.
I think in the workshop, there was one other thing they mentioned, right? Like, what are the root causes of our imposter syndrome?
I think the root cause is we are too harsh to ourselves. Yeah.
We are. Everyone is. Everyone is very criticizes themselves a lot.
I mean, yeah, right? You are your own worst critic, but I don't know. For me, I realize that I start to lock up and freeze when I hear or see like how accomplished every single person here is. Like I remember on that first week of class, just sitting in the room coming in, trying to sit on the side or in the back somewhere and listening to other people's conversations. They're like so confident, so powerful in their speech, like, oh yeah, I just finished med school, so I'm doing this before I go back for a residency, or oh yeah, I just started a startup, so I'm here to see if I can find the people who can build the next things. And just listen to you three. My gosh, 2 doctors, we got a dentist, all you came from really, really great places. You're already so, like, we're about the same age, and I look at how much you've accomplished, and I look at myself, and I'm like, what have I been doing the last, like, 5 years?
You have accomplished so much. Can you tell them how many students you teach?
No. We're not bringing that up here. But if you want to guess, feel free to just shoot us a message or comment down somewhere. But yeah, like but that's the thing. It's the feeling that other people make you feel like when you don't realize it, right? Like just being in that conversation and hearing from somebody else, look at how much you've done, right? It's like, wow, I've never done that before. Or geez, how did you even get the opportunity to? What am I missing? Because am I not looking hard enough? Right? And for me, that's when I start to realize and wonder, like, do I even deserve to be around everybody? I think another big point in our workshop was, like, how do we deal with imposter syndrome? What are ways to get around it?
So they did talk about trying to think about what unique skills and experiences and qualities that you have, right? Take some time to sit down and try to write down what your experiences brought to you. And one way I think of doing that's easier, rather than trying to praise yourself or trying to think about what you have accomplished, is to ask your friends about it. So, for example, for Nick, you are a really accomplished teacher, and you present in such a in such a skilled way that you can convince, I feel, anyone of anything.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, you have a, a stable job in the clinic, and then you have work experience, but with all that, you have the courage to quit your job and then come to public health. I think you mentioned that you don't even know where you are going after graduation, right? You don't have a job. That's the courage to make a change.
And just for like context, her life is the life that most of us would dream of having. Like she has a great house, she lives in a wonderful city, she's able to go hiking how many times? Like 3-4 times a week? Every week?
Once a week.
Okay, sure, once a week, but every week of the year, right? And you've traveled the world. Like, you're giving up such an amazing life for what? To help other people? Like, how many people will actually do that?
Wow. I
But
sound great.
what if people don't have friends or they haven't met friends? Are there any skills that you can deal with imposter syndrome?
Well, I mean, if we're applying for grad school, right, I'm pretty sure all of us had to set up some sort of a CV or a resume, right? So, like, pull that out and don't forget that you wrote stuff on there in the first place. And it's not like you never had friends. Like, who were the people who helped you get to that point? Your letter writers, right? Who were the people who were around you, your friends, before stepping into grad school? I think that's a great place to start because, man, I'm so appreciative of people like you who you help me remember what I've done when I forget myself, right? Like, I'm still so amazed at how you and Emily, oh my gosh, you're, like, for our audience out here, you don't realize this, but the two of them got into every single public health school that they applied to for separate things. Like, they applied for the things they wanted to do as a couple. So not only did they get into, what, all 7 of them? And, you know, what was it? Like, Hopkins, Brown, Yale, like,
All the top schools in the country.
top Ivy League schools in the country for their programs independently and together. Like, there is a post of them showing their acceptance letters to each of their individual programs together. You know how amazing that is?
Wait, it's on my Facebook. You look at that?
Yeah, that's how I knew.
I saw it too.
It was so cute.
The lottery thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I didn't expect that people look at that when I came here.
Why not?
We're stalking you.
It's okay to stalk the first time that you add someone, right? That's acceptable, right?
I don't know, Irene.
You will know what you are going to talk to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you're getting into by being friends with them.
Oh gosh, like, yeah, and like, Emily, you're an established physician. You're like, you have this track laid out for you. You were the top of your cohort when you were in school. You got into your #1 program, right? Like, and then what happened? You decided to give it up and come to America to study environmental health for what? Work on climate change? Why? You have this amazing life and this path ready and set up for you, and you have all of this time and this energy in the next few years to, like, just get it done with and then travel the world with your wonderful husband here. And what did you do instead? You
follow your passion. That's how passionate you are, right? Like, it takes a lot of courage to do this.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you really you know what you just said something that I didn't mention. I didn't realize that. Yeah, and I think that's the parts that everybody will sometimes they will forget why what they do before, and you will be stuck or you're afraid and you're totally forgot what you have done before. So be prepared of your story and look in your CV or ask your friend what's your accomplishment before. I think that's really helpful for the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, a lot of times we're really harsh on ourselves. So try to think from a perspective of your friend. friends are always nicer to you, say nice things to you. So think as if you were your friend. What would they say to you, right? So that will allow you to look at your good qualities and your skills and be able to sort that out.
Yeah, it needs practice, and you have to embrace yourself and then have a conversation with yourself. But I think doing that exercise is very critical because in this very fast-paced education in Ivy League, you have you self-doubt a lot, and then you need to like say good words to yourself. Otherwise, you you cannot accomplish anything. Like we talk about imposter syndrome, you are not behaving like yourself as before.
Yeah, that's why it's really important to surround yourself with friends like these, right? And how do you find friends like these? Is coming up on our future episode about networking. So look out.
No, no, but yeah, like I think you brought up such a good point because like I am so appreciative of you three because every time we go, like that's the beautiful thing about grad school. Like we're always meeting new people at least once a week. Like I get introduced at least to some new person that I didn't meet before because I chose not to live in a dorm.
You're welcome.
And you know, it's like the first things that y'all say about me are like, oh yeah, he's done this, and tell them how many things that you've done in the past, and tell them about what your background was, right? And if I don't say anything, you just like step up to the plate and you say those things on my behalf. And then like you just sell me, and it makes me feel like, wow, I can be in that conversation. It's that click start moment for me that I won't shy away so I can talk and have a space.
Yeah, I think it's a flip side. So at the first, we talk about when we are in the group, and then people talk, we feel shy and we feel small. But what you are sharing now is that you are in the group, but people bring you up, and then friends say what you have done that make you feel good in front of people.
Yeah, I really feel validated, right? And I think we can all, like, I don't know, I ever since like you all do that for me, I make a more conscious effort to do it for you every single time. Because I don't know, in the past I've gotten burned where people are like, oh yeah, don't tell people about what I've done, blah blah blah. But in this kind of space, at least when I know that you all went to that, like we all went to the imposter syndrome workshop together, that alone, seeing that more people felt this way too, like I can't help but try and find those opportunities to speak about all the amazing things you've done. Like, and it reminds me too, like, wow, how am I even friends with y'all? Because like, hello, I'm not a doctor. Haven't seen patients, right? I barely get through like the day, and you're here just giving up your time to spend with me. And it's just like, when I sit back and think about it, it just reminds me like, wow, you are such amazing people, and pushes me to be better.
I think doctors are overrated.
I don't know, the doctors don't seem to agree right now.
Okay, now we have shared a lot of our experience to overcome the imposter syndrome. We hope that you resonate with something we just said.
Yeah, and remember, everyone has unique qualities. Remind yourself of your skills and your talents. Surround yourself by friends like Emily, Ching, and Nick that will remind you of how great you are. And remember that people around you probably feel the same as you too. They probably feel imposter syndrome too. So you can help them as well by reminding them of how great they are.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, it's the holiday season, right? So do something good for your friends. Post a photo on them somewhere like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you do. Tag us at Grad Student Regrets and write about one accomplishment or one unique skill or something that they are just so good at. Like, help somebody else feel good, you know, because we just got to pay it forward. Everybody deals with imposter syndrome, so let's just try and make it something that's, well, not a problem anymore.
Yeah, I mean, your friends need your compliments, and we need your subscribe. So
And on that note, and on that, we hope you friends subscribe.
That's a wrap. See you on episode 4. Wait, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. It's not me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, whoops.